I think, this is going to be an amazing time to kind of shift gears a little bit. And I mean, we're talking about, what you've built so far and kind of your journey to this point. But, in the next 10 years of your organization, like, what do you feel it looks like? And I'm hoping you can touch on, just some of the challenges and some of the benefits of having your spouse, in your business. I mean, being a dad is hard, being married is hard. And like, just the fact that you're able to balance all these things is incredibly impressive. So hoping you can dive into some of those different layers.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would like to grow, right? I feel like growth always not always, but it usually is a good thing. You want to grow, you want to scale somewhat. But yeah, weaving in, being married and having a daughter, and my daughter's 10 right now. So really, we call our the time that we spend together, we call it prime time. So I feel like I want to really be mindful of the prime time and make sure that I'm maximizing this opportunity of time with them. So, it's a balance of, growing versus staying married and being a good father and like trying to balance all of those. And I think, the biggest thing I've learned is that what really helps with that is good habits. And so I'm really constantly focused on, in some of the smallest details, what habits um can I try to develop in order to be a better father, be a better husband. Like we have a date night tonight. We're gonna do our date nights on Monday night. And sometimes it might feel like we're forcing it, but it's a habit, right? It's a habit. Or, like my daughter and I did a bucket list. We did a bucket list of, 10 things that we want to do together. So we're checking off the list, the things. And it was kind of like pretty open-ended. So we're, checking off the things because it's like I want to make the time I'm spending with my family a habit, but then at the same time, when it's work time, because there's really no such thing as a perfect balance, and there's no perfect schedule either. Um, but on the work part, like I need to make sure that I'm allocating the time to get my work done, to, make sales calls or do marketing, work on management, work on building systems and fulfillment. So like if I don't make time for that, then my business is going to suffer, right? And there's seasons like the last 3 years for us have been more challenging because we're somewhat reliant on the market in terms of interest rates and real estate. So our business has required more of my attention than it would have otherwise, in certain ways anyway. And so, sometimes you got to lean into your business a little bit more. And then other times you got to lean into your marriage. And I think really to be successful for me over the next 10 years, in my business and as a husband and as a father and as a, follower of God and all the things, like I need to make sure I'm developing the absolute best habits and also, getting rid of the worst habits. So like if there's a habit that's not serving me or it's not serving my family, like being okay with being like, okay, like I don't have time for that anymore, And I think that's biblical too, because it's like, now I'm not a child anymore. I'm a man, and certain things you have to sacrifice. You got to make sure that you're taking care of your family. And even if you don't have a family, it could be taking care of yourself, or it could be taking care of your parents. So I think, yeah, for me
Yeah.
to be able to successful over the next 10 years, it's going to be, really focusing on my habits. And a great book is Atomic Habits. If you guys haven't read it, yeah, I just love that book. So it's a good kickstart for anybody who.
Well, a couple things on that. Like Atomic Habits is so funny. During COVID, I came up with something called micro habits because I'm an inventor like you are. And I thought I had come up with something brand new that no one had come up with. And then I go research, and there's like Atomic Habits and Tiny Habits and like multiple books of basically the concept that I thought I had come up with. So I'm not as cool as I thought I was. But then the other thing is that refiner's fire of like essentialism, like when identifying those false idols, those things in our lives aren't serving us, that are taking us away from our family, our faith, and our work, that if we don't take the time to like big picture, and I had to do that. I'm not married, but like I had to do that. And I noticed there were pieces of my life that were habits that were bad, or habits that were not horrible, but not serving what I felt I was being called to do. And I think that's really important, like every 6 months, every year, to like take a time to zoom out and look at what's serving me in the business, what's serving me in life, and what's not. Because it's so easy to slip into those habits that just kind of start to form, that we realize, oh wow, that just became a concrete habit. Now it's causing me issues in my marriage, let's say,
Mhm.
So that book, Essentialism and Atomic Habits, like those two books are great for being able to kind of like build the habits and also evaluate what's serving you and what's not, so you're not potentially, cutting your knees off, mind you.
Yeah. And if you lose if you have a really, terrible relationship with your kids because you weren't leaning into that, or you weren't there for them, or you weren't emotionally invested with them, but your business crushed it, like, what are you really left with? You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I've been trying to tell myself, almost like I'm like 80 years old, like talking to myself, like, hey, like, come on, dingbat. like that's not important. Like, this is more important than that, you know? And I think that there's a lot of wisdom in that, and like trying to look ahead
Yeah.
and tell yourself like, hey, yeah, you're going to have to sacrifice this, and it might be a big sacrifice, but it's for something so much better, you know?
Yeah.
So my mindset for the next 10 years, I feel like, is so much more wholesome, like I'd mentioned, I got in the mortgage industry because it was going to pay more,
Hmm.
and now I'm in it, and I've been doing it for 20 years, and I do love it. But what I love about it is different. It's not just for the money, I need to make a living. So I'm going to keep it real. I'm running a business, and I need to, have a healthy business. But I would not want to do it. I would go do something different if I wasn't able to serve other people, or to make an impact, So I think it's just a different mindset. And I feel like that mindset will take me further in the next 10 years than the last, because it's just a different way of thinking. So I'm excited about it. Like I said, it's a journey. I'm on the journey, the business owner's journey. Here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And
Yeah.
it does go better when you do that. Like we receive more when we give. This life, as God calls us to, is to give and receive. When we try to take, we think we're getting a lot, but we're actually handicapping our ability to receive and to give. And it's not. So you're doing the right thing. Just want to validate that. That's a great mentality and
Thank
focus,
you.
man.